Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Pitang Tam Sajivam Sarvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Cha Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvije Namaha Hare Krishna. So dear devotees, we are here happily with you, and we're being joined by another happy person by the banging and knocking on the door. Sorry. No knocking office, especially if you're late. I'm not allowed to chastise Kumkum, anyway. So yes, we've come together. And here is Kumkum. So come into the light, please. We do have another light, but using a different camera. Yesterday I was told we look like we're on an old television with the ripples that go up and down. We can turn it on. But now is better, right? Anyhow, here we are. We still look like we're on an old color TV from my point of view. Not really very good color. All right. Dear devotees, we've come together. There is a chat in the chat box. I just found out the time was not saying 7 a.m. anymore. Who? Oh, Radha Sundari. Yes, well, but is she here? Did she come and leave?
There she is.
Oh, yes, Radha Sundari did it. Yes, the time was changed quite a long time ago for the Sunday Zoom is this time now, and the Thursday Zoom is a different time.
Dhanavad Maharaj, Kelly shared with me the new details. I was lucky to receive a message from her, and she was inviting me to one meeting in the Zoom, and I asked her when is BBBC happening, and she told me. So I have a time for Thursday also. Thank you.
So Leela Moy Prabhu can put in the chat box kindly the Thursday time and the Sunday time, because they're different, yeah. They're the same link, but just a different time. All right. So Radha Sundari, good to have you back. We mean to have you with us. You've been with us by heart, no doubt, but good to have you with us here.
Thank you.
We are with our Bangkok team, what is it called? Your advertising you do in Bangkok?
Spirit Souls of Bangkok.
Yes.
Spirit Souls of Bangkok. Oh, the BB must be the BBK. Okay, BBK being Bangkok. All right. So we're actually all from the east, or well, the very south, Sevarupa, over in South Africa, there. But from India, in fact, Muktinath Prabhu is on the roof of the Nat Mandir in Nabadwip.
Yes, Dandavad Maharaj.
So before moving on this week, let us be with Muktinath Prabhu for a short while to get a touch of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat of Nabadwip, and we see that it is nicely painted. You can show all the way to the roof, to the top of the dome.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Oh yeah, the flag is flying at the top of the dome. You see,
Yes,
the flag pole, I think, has come down.
that
Oh,
was renovated for Gaurapurnima, newly painted and new flags and all lights on the domes also lighting in the evening.
Jai. Glorious Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki Jai. And Muktinath Prabhu, please just give us a little news. You are with us. You're in Nabadwip, visiting, I think, or are you staying there and doing some service there?
Yes, yes, Maharaj. I'm staying here already couple of weeks and will stay more a bit. And
Okay.
yes, uh, up to request do some service and try to be in a useful to use my time here.
Okay. And what news do you have? What can you let us know?
Is everything going well? In schedule, and now is now is flowers everywhere blooming after winter time, and new fragrance come, and I mean that's about environment and beautiful deities. Just yesterday change dressing, and not so many pilgrimage now here. Pilgrims, everybody left, and looks like now a bit more or less people, not just a few people. I mean, team stay here, and
Okay. That's Srila Guru Maharaj's Bhajan Kutir, by the way, upstairs, looking across.
yes, with the bridge.
The little bridge joining it to the roof of the Nat Mandir.
Yes, and
Okay, just hold there, then we can see Srila Gurudev's to the right of the temple. That's the left. Where you were standing on the bridge, then we can see down to Gurudev's Bhajan Kutir, Acharya Bhavan. There you are. At the end is Srila Gurudev's Bhajan Kutir, also upstairs, and called Acharya Bhavan. On the right, where the arches are, then that is the veranda, raised veranda, about the chest height of that man that was walking just there beside. And that's where Srila Guru Maharaj stayed for some years, and where the deities also first came and stayed there. And then presently, Srila Govinda Maharaj made upstairs on the right there, that Bhajan Kutir, so that Guru Maharaj would be away from all of the management and seeing the activities of the devotees downstairs. There we are. Beautiful.
so yes, still bamboo construction. That was pandal for pilgrimage. Still, now it's too big. Pandal was here in mud area inside. I mean, yes.
Okay, Prabhu, and you can see across to Govinda Kund from there? Almost. There's
I can.
Govinda Kund, yes.
Oh yeah, maybe from here.
There we are. Jai Shri Govinda Kund ki Jai, Shri Giriraj in the center of the Kund ki Jai. All right.
Yes.
There's the Westerner's Seva house, Paschatya Sevak Bhavan.
Yes, it's that also was full of pilgrimage during pilgrims during the Gaurapurnima. Also used that building for the host the pilgrims, but now not so much.
And that there, that palm, that's the palm tree of the tal palms. Oh no, it's not. This, oh my goodness, this tree has grown a lot. It was maybe 2.5 meters, 3 meters high, but now it is quite high, higher than the nut mandi.
Yes, that's what I thinking also. Maybe Madhusudan Maharaj seen that trees where it was 1 meter tall, and now it's already more than the roof. Yeah, taller than.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
All right. And if you go left, no, yes, go left. Just show us the other palm tree, this palm tree in front of you. Go upwards. That should be the towel tree, I think. Uh-oh. We've lost. No, that's the other one. Oh, and then that's this very tall one is the tree that has big, heavy fruit, like almost like a coconut. But they come in big bunches and very favorite of Lord Balaram. And if they fall down and kill you, it is said that Balaram will take you home personally.
Jai. Yeah, that's
But
very tall.
I don't think we can force things like this to happen. It's only if it's descending grace. All right, Muktinath Prabhu, thank you. You've given us a touch of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Nabadwip.
Maharaj, happy to be your eyes here.
And in the chat box, then you can see the new times of in fact, I mean, for quite a while now, these are the times of this is Zoom and Facebook. New time changes to the regular Zoom and Facebook. BBC Back to Basics classes are Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Nabadwip time. So now by the way, these classes are all fixed to Nabadwip time because before they were fixed to American time, and America changes its time at a completely different day than the other places in the world that change their time. So it was very confusing for a lot of devotees. So Thursday, 6:30 p.m., and Sundays is 9:30 a.m. All right, so there we are. That's clear. Hare Krishna. So Paramananda Prabhu is driving in the car, and he's always busy. Is he still with us? Ah, yes, but the microphone is off. Prabhu, if it is suitable, you could start us with something on the theme of back to basics. Otherwise, we can begin here.
Maharaj, needs few minutes, so please go ahead. I can catch up in a few minutes.
Okay, sure. So there are two themes, we can say, which have been coming up repeatedly, and you know how coincidence happens, and coincidentally we read something in one place, and then in another place, and then in another place, all at the same day even, or one day in another day. But what we have been reading and hearing, because yesterday I was listening to, with some devotees, I was listening to Srila Gurudev speaking. So Srila Gurudev was speaking. Earlier we'd been listening to Srila Guru Maharaj speaking in the temple room yesterday morning before they do the broadcast, before they turn the camera on here in Italy. And also in sermons of the guardian of devotion, it had come up. So in 3 places at the same time, then a topic came up and we think, well, this must be a message for someone. Hopefully it's not a message for us, but it's a message. There's a message here somewhere where it's being repeated 3 times in 3 different places completely. And so that message was about intoxication and how nothing spiritual can come from material things. And Guru Maharaj was being very strong, but not like shouting strong like this, but with transmission, trying to transmit to a devotee who was being a little stubborn to accept that, oh, LSD is not spiritual, because he, not on this occasion here, but that same person, oh no, a different person on another day said that to Guru Maharaj, said, I feel I came to Krishna consciousness because of LSD. And then something that happened, this, that, and the other. And Guru Maharaj, that time, very sternly changed his mood from like affectionate transmission to pretty much chastisement. But sternly he said that you must know that it is the great magnanimity, the great generosity of Mahaprabhu and Nityananda that despite your taking intoxication, you have come to Krishna consciousness. So Guru Maharaj changed around, the way to see the intoxicant. And yesterday we heard Guru Maharaj, and he was saying, you must leave the mania of intoxication. And at that time, there was a section of spiritual people who almost based their practices on taking intoxication and then chanting Hare Krishna and then doing other things, chanting and dancing in ecstasy. And Guru Maharaj was making very clear about that intoxication means darkness, and that it is the opposite, the absolute opposite of what is Krishna prema. So from dense darkness to come into the path of devotional life, and the result of going along that path is we're going from a dense darkness, thinking that that is reality. So even denser than the darkness we're normally in, to invite intoxication, to invite more illusion through intoxication, is generally giving more disqualification. Anyway, this came up three separate places, and so it is not bad. We make a 4th place and say, well, this is a topic which is there, and everyone should know it. We have come from those days when there was sections of devotees who were doing that in the name of this is the speedy way to come to Krishna prema. But Guru Maharaj making it very clear that it is not. So this is one topic that's come up. And there is a 2nd topic, by the way, which, it's not related except it's Krishna consciousness, but another topic that's come up is that we've been hearing about Veda Vyas giving the Vedas, and then himself giving the conclusion of the Vedas, the Srimad Bhagavatam, and the whole setup, if you like, how Krishna arranged everything, how the Lord arranged everything, so that the Srimad Bhagavatam, the conclusion of the Vedas, could be presented to the world, not just to the regular people on the street, but it was presented to the topmost experts in the different departments of spiritual research, the yogis, the jnanis, the karmis, and all their different sections of different types of meditation, different types of karma, different types of jnana, etc. So that also has come up and a little bit repeatedly in different places. So when these do come up, we have to, we kind of think there's a message for us where we need to keep our basics of our devotional life very, very clear. And that is, we've got a rock solid foundation of the scripture, and then the rock solid foundation of those who are carrying that message of the scripture. And that is headed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who brought Srimad Bhagavatam, the devotional aspect of Srimad Bhagavatam, clearly into light for everyone. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought not only philosophy or the teaching, he brought the practice, what to do, how to do. And he brought the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for everyone, imbued, the seed imbued with that potency, with that potential, that we are taken, the fruit of that seed when it grows, we are taken to Goloka Vrindavan. So that also is another theme which has come up. So two things which are very back to basics, that is the authority of Veda Vyas, the scriptures, and of course there's some detail about how Veda Vyas came to write the Srimad Bhagavatam, how the Srimad Bhagavatam came about. But it came about after Veda Vyas had compiled the Vedas and completed the task, but feeling something was missing, that why I don't feel that I've completed this. And then Narada Muni came at that time of his great need to solve that, what's the missing savor here? And then Narada Muni, the very famous Narada Muni, came, and as Guru Maharaj says, chastise Veda Vyas. You are giving what already people are doing, but in a more refined way, being self-centered, materialistic activities, self-promotion, or to higher planets, etc., or to float off into no man's land. So in a more polished way than Veda Vyas had given the guidance for, you can say, a materially civilized society, but he hadn't given the conclusion. Then Narada Muni gave him 4 verses and said, now you must consider these verses and give the conclusion of knowledge. And then the scene became set with the cursing of Maharaja Parikshit, that he would die within 7 days, and him then calling the heads of all the departments to come together. And then he said to them, you are all giving me different advice what to do, but give me the conclusion. And then that conclusion came when Shukadev Goswami arrived, and they unanimously said, well, we are all searching, but he has got what we are searching for. We want to hear from him, and you should hear from him too. And so this was the opportunity for the conclusion of the Vedas to be presented, and this is recorded by Veda Vyas. Hare Krishna. So two items important for us, not to be tempted into any department which says take intoxication and you will get quick journey upwards. It is the opposite. It will be a journey downwards. And when you take a wrong journey, you have to come back from that journey. And many people who've been on that kind of journey, some have not come back. Not in this life, because it can be very destructive. All right, Sevarupa Devi Rasi giving us, being reminded of the unparalleled ideal Sri Chaitanyadev has given, fortunate souls cannot but chant his glories at this auspicious time. What is the auspicious time? 5:26 in Italy.
Maharaj, it was just on this specific day, so many years back, that this article was published in 2013 or something, but I don't know if it was published or what, but it's from the Gaudiya Darshan, but it's just a few quotes from, let me get it right, Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, about the gift that Sri Chaitanya Dev has given.
On this day, in preparation for Sri Nabadwip Dham Parikrama.
Yeah, the top says that, but the date is the same as today. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So it is 15th of March, 2013. But that was when it was published.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that's not the Gaudiya Darshan time. That's when it was posted onto the Gaudiya Darshan. Oh, I see, Sri Gaudiya Darshan. Yeah, they posted onto the Gaudiya Darshan website. Yes.
And Maharaj, just on that theme that you said keeps coming up.
Which one?
The one about the intoxication, because
Yeah.
I've also have heard, where also devotees and then have, I suppose some people in all walks of life, they do struggle in their life, but if they are already, maybe have certain addictions and that, but still are meant to chant no matter what, or, where, I think also different angles of vision is that if no matter what you're doing, you should still take the holy name, in that way. So also, I don't know what to say in those instances. And yes, so yeah, I think I'm just kind of sharing because it's, we do hear different, like I say, angles of vision or how devotees feel they need to preach to all people of all walks of life or people struggling with addictions. So not that, take it and then you coming to Krishna consciousness, but wherever you are and wherever you find yourself, just keep chanting.
So this is about the public or about devotees who've been devotees and then fallen back?
Yeah, I think about both.
Bit of both. Anyway, the general rule is there, always chant Hare Krishna. But we also, for devotees who know and have at some point recognized what is right and what is wrong, and then made adjustments in their lives, then when they recognize and know what is right and what is wrong, that is, as Guru Maharaj said, it's a wealth within us to recognize that and to put it into practice. And there's not a single answer, but in Namakari Bahura Nija Savashaktis, in the second verse of the Shikshastakam, then we see that in all circumstances, chant. But we should not, as Guru Maharaj says, we should not deceive ourselves. And this was in yesterday's reading, from sermons of the Guardian of Devotion, that we should not deceive ourselves and others. And for devotees who have come, and when, at least from our generation, our time, and really it should be the case, when they come to Krishna consciousness, you give up the four particular bad things which you shouldn't do: meat eating, illicit sex, gambling, and intoxication. And as Gurudev said, this is the ABC. And it's easy to be weak of mind and look for an excuse to again go back and take shelter in intoxication. But as we said just now, we take a wrong road. We need to turn around and come back. And if it's a downhill road somebody's gone on, then it can be harder to come back because it's uphill to go back. So association with devotees. So in the devotee section, we really want to do good for them, to have them do what they already did. When they came to Krishna consciousness, it's understood. You give up meat eating, illicit sex, gambling, and intoxication. And so, indeed, there's one section of devotees who went into like a separate group of intoxication in the name of spiritual life. And one of the persons closely involved there, but got out of it all, made the comment, well, once they all gave up these things, again they can do it. So we need to try to give encouragement that devotees will come back to the clean path. We can say take shelter of the name, but take shelter of devotees in this case may be applicable. It's difficult. We could say always take Krishna consciousness, but be sincere. And Guru Maharaj, not in what we just heard, but Guru Maharaj addresses this point at different times because it kept coming up, by the way, in those days. He addressed this point different times. And Guru Maharaj saying, and sometimes this is used as an excuse, but Guru Maharaj saying that to give up intoxication is a small thing compared with the deep-rooted male-female connection in this world. To give up the mundane attractions, that is deep-rooted, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And so if we can't give up intoxication, where are we going to be with the deeper attachments which are in this material world? And Guru Maharaj says is that like mushrooms, there's no solid ground to that. They can easily be taken out, but it needs some strength of mind. It needs some strength of mind to do anything. And I could also say, really, if somebody reads, Guru Maharaj reads or hears somehow from Guru Maharaj, Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada every day, they will get strength from that for everything in devotional life. And they'll slap themselves on the cheeks to wake up. We've got this great fortune not to waste this life like in a suicidal way. But there's Alcoholics Anonymous, and there's I don't know if there is, but presumably somewhere there's an Intoxicants Anonymous. But we are all addicted to the material world. And that is the Addicted to the Material World Anonymous Association in which we are. But it is not the focus on just leave the negative, leave the negative. The emphasis is on the positive. And by following the advice in the positive direction, the negative will almost by itself fall away. But we need that assertion from our own mind to get ourselves onto the track. When you're on the track, then the track is keeping you straight. But when we are off the track and deliberately go off the track, it's a slippery slide downhill and a tough slide back up. But Guru Maharaj, acknowledged that people come, they're taking intoxicant, but they must give it up. And under supervision, we've had people taking heavy intoxicants and actually ended up in bad shape by in one sense, having good faith that just I'll come to Krishna and everything will be fine. But that kind of heavy intoxicant they were taking put them into a desperate situation. And we've had this with devotees who've died, by the way. We only see those who are alive, but there are those who died from this. And it's not happy. Wasted life, you can say. Came so close, and then, as Guru Maharaj said, the football goes away. But for others, I try to tell them to give up don't do the 4 bad things and do the good thing. But whether we are going to go to Alcoholics Anonymous, maybe we can tell the alcoholics, chant Hare Krishna. Whenever you want a beer, chant Hare Krishna. That might work. But I'm not sure about have 6 pints of beer, then chant Hare Krishna. Not sure about that one. Maybe we need to call in Paramananda Prabhu. We've got ourselves an actual question here, Paramananda Prabhu.
I shall give it a shot.
Please.
See if it works. Then with full realization, I can come back and say, no, it doesn't. Talking about
Prabhu, I missed that sentence. I didn't catch it somehow.
I said maybe I should give it a shot.
Oh, experiment. No. Nobody follow this line.
Anyhow, I mean, it's kind of coming in Pratishta. These are the pillars of this world, mundane world, pillars of mundanity. No surprise, we're naturally attracted by that. Being a conditioned soul and not liberated soul. The question is, what to do when you realize perhaps this is not our good situation. And that's when we come to take shelter from those who know the way. I think we had that discussion a little bit earlier. Like you were mentioning Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva is giving everything there is to know about this world. And he's pointing in that a higher direction, we can say. But then why Narada Muni is so upset when he's seeing what he did and how much he gave? All the knowledge is there lined up, came through him. Then why is he so upset? And then he says, what you have given here, you may think it will help people, but it will do exactly the opposite. It will bewilder them even more, to the point there will be no exit. You will be stuck in here. So you must do something about it. You must get the essence out. Otherwise, people will be chasing the same kind of coming in Pratishta, because this is what it is. And sometime in the in a very refined shape. Hello.
Yes, we lost you for a while there. You're in
Oh,
a
okay.
tunnel, I think. Yeah.
All right. So Vyasadeva, coming to the intoxication part, and Srila Guru Maharaj facing this kind of situations at that particular time to a bigger extent than now. So Vyasadeva is giving that. But then Narada Muni is not satisfied. He's saying, you please give more. Final conclusion. The fifth end of life. And again, he is unable to fully reveal that, which is very interesting. I mean, we have to remember Vyasadeva is the position of the one who gives the knowledge or reveals the knowledge. And there can be many Vyasadevas. So this is Dvayapayana Vyasa who gives the Vedas. There can be other Vyasas on the different steps of as we're ascending to the higher world. So at some point, Srila Guru Maharaj explains how Lord Shiva gives a very peculiar conclusion. He's saying, Aham vidmi shukoviti vyasa vitona vetiva. So he's saying that I know. Shuka may know. Vyasadev, I cannot say. He may know or may not know. So they're talking about the higher lila. And this is what coming from personalities such as Srila Guru Maharaj. Really, they're the givers of that. And others in our line. Starting from Madhavendra Puri and so many other wonderful personalities. They're giving what is not revealed in the Vedas, what is hidden in Srimad Bhagavatam, the highest of the high. And then, how is that possible to even think that with some kind of artificial supplement, you can come close, even a particle of a millimeter close to that world? So at some point, Srila Guru Maharaj explains that he gives that verse from Srila Rupa Goswami, Atakshri Krishna Namadina Bhavet Rakhi. Not through the senses, not through the mind. You can come closer to understanding the Lord's position, the glories of the Lord, how attractive He is, how loving He is, His understanding of His beauty. It's impossible through any of those means. So I think Guru Maharaj also illustrates that point. And how can one think? It's only possible through the service, if we go further in the verse. How is that possible that someone may say, oh, through the intoxication, we'll get a deeper realization? I mean, just apply a common sense and a basic logic. And a little bit of Shastra knowledge. You're not required to be a Pandit. Basics. It is impossible. The case is closed. But like Sevarupa Didi, her question, I think, was one part of the question is that some devotees, they're coming from that background. They already experienced all kinds of intoxications. Was it the case?
Paramahansa Prabhu. Yes,
Yes.
so what I was saying is that, yes, so I think even in certain preaching, it's, I think they like trying to say, whatever level you're on, even if you are drinking and that, or whatever you're doing in your life, just chant the holy name. That was one of it. And the other part is that even though if you do know, like you're a devotee, and that you are already battling this demon of intoxication, just carry on chanting the holy name. So I think those were the two. Yeah.
Yes. Srila Gurudev answered this once. It was just discussion between him and myself. He was asking me some questions about a particular devotee who was very much attached to heavy intoxications. And I pointed it out as his major misqualification. And that was completely rejected by Srila Govinda Maharaj. And I'm not saying that he was saying it's okay for him to continue that way. No, he was pointing out one important moment. He said that this is his words. Prabhu, I know that many of my disciples are not following strictly. Many taking intoxication. But I'm not so concerned about that. What I'm concerned about is that they're loyal and chaste to me. I remember every single word he said. That was kind of a revelational to me. And then he looked at my face. I guess my face was a little bit surprised. I was putting different priorities in my head. And then he said, if they're loyal to me, all those unwanted habits will go away. It's just a matter of time. And to be loyal means do your best to fully surrender to him, to your spiritual master, and try your best to follow his advice. And there will be shortcomings. There will be falling downs, but it's a part of the process. Otherwise, how can you learn anything if you don't make any mistakes? And in the previous gathering, we remember that verse, Vapadamula Bhajata Priyasya, where it is said that due to the past karma, sometimes we carry a lot of baggage with us. We have no control over it in this life. And sometimes it can pull us down at the moments of weakness. And we may commit some abominable things. We can do things that we're not supposed to do. But if our heart belongs to the Lord, if we sincerely regret and repent about our actions, then the Lord will take away the reactions of those actions. But again, we have to be very careful not to apply it in a very generic kind of way. It's case by case. And we have to doubt that this mercy dispensation will ever touch us. So we have to be extra careful. It's not that, okay, let me just repent, it'll be fine. No, we try not to do that. Really, we try our best not to do that. So I think that's a good point that Govinda Maharaj is making. Surrender to the spiritual master, to the sadhu. They wish good to us. Really. And they're giving themselves fully into, we can say, they're serving their disciples. And that was the expression I heard from Srila Govinda Maharaj numerous times. So I'm a servant of my disciples. Even though disciples are eager to serve him, they don't want him to be a servant of them. That's how he would express it, because he wants something good to come to them. He wants to guide them to the very end. Like Gurudev said, you may abandon me, you may go away, but I cannot abandon you. This is my responsibility. I will never abandon. You may try to do so, you may go, but I cannot. So that grace will help to everyone, and many coming from that background, no doubt about it. And like Maharaj was saying, we don't have to, we have to be very careful, not thinking that we defeated that bad habit. Do not challenge Maya, you will be the loser. And we can see, and we saw in the history, unfortunate history, that, let's say, devotees, simple-hearted devotees, experienced devotees, new devotees, experienced devotees, even devotees in the position of the gurus would again fall victims to those vices if they're not careful. So all these things we have to consider in the broader vision. And we can also hear from our Guru Varga how it's not only intoxication, meaning drugs, alcohol, the substances, but intoxication by the opposite sex, like Maharaj was mentioning. And it is pointed out that the highest attachment and the biggest difficulty for us to overcome is actually pratishta, pride, greed for power, to be someone. That basically means to be Krishna. That desire is very strongly rooted, and that's another forms of intoxication. So in a broader vision, we have to approach that whole intoxication situation, not just stop taking this and stop taking that, but really we have to deal with so many different aspects of that. But again, the process is very simple. Take shelter of the sadhu, take shelter of your spiritual master, chant the holy names, try your best, and do the seva. And that's where the real connection is. And that's what Guru Maharaj will point out, continuing with the verse. That's actually Krishna Namani. That will be the conclusion. Through the service, you can get substantial connection with the sadhu, with the guru. You will develop faith, you will develop attraction. And when you're strong enough, then again, Srila Guru Maharaj included this beautiful verse in Prapana Jivanamrita. Bhakti Stvai Stiratarat Bhagavati. He's saying, if only our devotion was so strong, if we can only keep that connection with the Lord, then Kana Kamini Pratishta will be standing there with folded hands, begging you, please engage us in the divine service to the lotus feet of the Lord. And what to speak of Kana Kamini Pratishta? Even the Mukti itself will be there with the folded hands and tearfully begging for such devotee to be engaged in the service. If only we had enough devotion. That's another verse. So it all comes to that.
And then we are warned we must be very careful to accept their service. In other words, the last snare on the way to out of the material world. Yes, and also the point that you made, really it is on an individual basis. Weakness of heart is one thing, weakness of heart, will get some strength and get back on track. But association, bad association, all these things can bring somebody into a difficult circumstance. But Guru Maharaj, we had in our reading yesterday I don't have a mouse. I do have a mouse. Okay, or maybe Kumkum can say something. I'll just see if I can find a quote from yesterday about this matter of discriminating.
Well, my Dandavat to all, and it's very helpful for everyone to hear this deep reflection on problems which are always going to be trying to attack us. I remember in the early days when we first heard that Srila Guru Maharaj had answered someone's question with a new person, I believe, wanted to take to Krishna consciousness but could not give up marijuana. And so Guru Maharaj answered, as Maharaj was mentioning, it is very easy to give up intoxication, and went on to mention what difficulties are actually facing us. But he said it is very easy to give it up intoxication, or because it can be given up. And I heard at that time so many people quote him saying it is not a bad problem to not worry about intoxication. And I was forever going after people and reminding them the rest of the sentence, not even a different discussion, but he was saying because it can be given up. And there's so much assistance to help us give up intoxication if we desire to. And it made me reflect entirely on how do we approach the words and the instructions from our guru. And it's not just that we wait until we've heard something that we wanted to hear. I find that so easy to do, but we actually are trying to understand his purpose, like a servant wants to understand, what does my master actually want? And let me put my whole heart into that. And so not to just cherry pick is an expression. And that is a very helpful advice, to take our Guru's instructions to heart. And Maharaj, I did bring something in my pocket that happens to support this from Benedictine tree.
Okay. Please share from the Benedictine tree.
Wait, let's see, 7 AS. Okay. And it's on the subject of when somebody is discouraged. There's a question there in the second chapter. Which is called Universal Grace. And someone asks, we became attracted to Krishna consciousness by a great soul, but sometimes we may not go fully all the way. What can help us to continue to the goal without leaving it halfway? And the whole chapter, of course, is perfect, but this one excerpt, what we need are good friends and association. Then we can proceed happily. And the other factor is that if our surrender is perfect, then from the upper level, faith will come to us and protect us. If someone is fully surrendered to Krishna in his form as Guru or Sadhu, then Krishna will certainly protect him. He must protect him. But it is also sometimes a factor of time as to when Krishna will accept that devotee or how much time he will spend for him. But we should not feel hopeless because of that. When the time actually comes, we shall surely understand. It may be a very short time just in front of us, or maybe a long, long time. But what is time? Maybe a few births can also come and go in that time. But that is also a very meager thing. In relation to infinite time, it is most insignificant. From Krishna, we get our hope, and this is a 100% assurance. But while we are waiting for that position of liberation from this mundane environment, and we want to proceed to our destination, this is when the association of Krishna's devotees will be most helpful. Such association can give relief and nourishment to our mind and soul. So, of course, we don't like to hear that I might not get every single thing that I want immediately. So this also being a very good reason to always take shelter of everything our gurus are giving us. Then time is not the factor. We will understand that success will come. We will get that by grace.
Jai. And I did find in the meantime too the quote from Guru Maharaj. So you heard from Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj just now, and Srila Guru Maharaj, and he is saying, this is in the Sermons of the Guardian of Devotion, Volume 1, which we're reading at the moment in the temple room each morning. And yesterday's reading, or it could have been now the day before, because time passes by, about persons who slip into bad habits again. So Guru Maharaj is saying, he knows what is good, what is bad, but he can't help himself from falling into the clutches of the mundane senses. Still, he will repent. And then Guru Maharaj quotes a verse from the Skanda Purana, Bhumaus Kalita Paranang Bhumi eva valambanam Tvayi jata paradhanam Tvam eva sharanang prabho. Which means, it's a short translation, for those who have stumbled and fallen upon the ground, that very ground is the only support by which they can arise once again. Likewise, for those who have offended you, O Lord, you alone. So you alone are their only refuge. So and then Guru Maharaj is saying, in the beginning, when a child tries to walk, he falls down, but he gets up and tries again. In this way, we must proceed, but we must not stoop to deceive ourselves. But we must not stoop to deceive ourselves. That is Maya, deception, To deceive our own self and others is only to live in the world of deception. Such persons are deceiving themselves and the environment also. But then a positive, helpful note comes up here. Guru Maharaj then says, those who can conquer their partiality, what they want, and their prejudices, what they don't want, can stand amongst the most qualified. The eye to detect our disqualification is our real wealth, and we are given the eye to see by the grace of our Gurudev. So today we are very rich, very wealthy with the quotes from our masters and their direction, and hearing the direct discussion on this matter that Paramananda Prabhu relayed to us. And Guru Maharaj, he's broad and he's also strict. It depends on who the person is, which is why it's a case-by-case circumstance. And at the root, faith. Hare Krishna. Anyway, it may be continued, but we will try to help others, but for ourselves individually, we mustn't allow ourselves to be tempted by the various things that even the devotees do. Unfortunately, in the later days of Srila Gurudev in the mat, we had one by one some problems with devotees taking intoxication, but then like a club of intoxicators started to come. And one person, then they influenced somebody else who trying to give everything up or given everything up. And then we found that there were like a group of devotees who were supposedly hiding, but in Bengal, there's always somebody, a Bengali is always watching you. And so, they got busted, as it were. But and then we're thinking, why? And one of our wise devotees, he said, misery likes company. And I thought, well, that pretty much goes in that line. And then in India, I first heard the expression, or it's the only place I've heard the expression, where those who take heroin, they are lighting it and then they're catching the smoke and they call it chasing the dragon. Well, doesn't that itself say, well, that's not a good idea? But anyway, let's not go into this too much. But we must be sincere that we don't get tempted by any of these things. We're talking about intoxication, but then, as Paramananda pointed out, as Gurudev is pointing out what Gurudev and Guru Maharaj have pointed out, that there is finer and finer aspects to this material addiction, the material, taking shelter of the material world, and up to the pratishta, which is the final attracting, the final binding connection with the material world. To give up the opposite sex, to give up intoxication, to give up wealth, many things can be done, many people do, but to give up position, that wanting name and fame, is very difficult. So when we have some friends who do help us not to feel named and famous, then it is very helpful for us. We shall also see everything in a positive light. And Sevarupa, she's put a short quote from Benedictine tree. By the way, the name Benedictine tree, this is Gurudev's translation of a Kalpa Vriksha tree. Kalpa Vriksha, Benedictine tree. And he thought about it as he thinks about everything. He considers it and then gave that name for the book. And this is wish-fulfilling tree. This book can fulfill everyone's wishes. Satatang prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti hrit karna rasayanaha kathat haj joshanad ashvapavaga. Sorry, Paranandru, I know you can say this perfectly. Vatmani shradha ratir bhakti anukramishyati. From Srimad Bhagavatam. What we need are good friends and association. So this is Gurudev saying from this verse. He's not giving a word-by-word translation. What we need are good friends and association. Then we can proceed happily. And the other factor is that if our surrender is perfect, then from the upper level, faith will come to us and protect us. There we are. So today, some reflections there, and right inside the gateway from the road of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, Muktinath Prabhu is standing with the camera on. So we began in Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. We have been hearing the grace of Guru that has been dispensed from Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. And now we are ending our back to basics with a mystical immediate view. In this very same instant we are seeing in the external cover, no doubt, but the beautiful Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, so dear to Guru Maharaj and so dear to Gurudev. So here in front of Guru Maharaj Samadhi and here in front of Gurudev Samadhi, Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gurudev Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. And Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Guru Maharaj Srila Bhakti Rockok Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga Ki Jai. Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. And, the doors are closed. Anyhow, Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhava Govinda Sundar Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, Nabadwip Ki Jai. All the ashrams and temples connected to the mat Ki Jai. And Sri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaurapremanandi Hari Hari Bo. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. This is the home of our heart. Hare Krishna. Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. All right, dear devotees, we are going to continue. And as long as Leela Moy Prabhu leaves it on, we'll be here silently watching Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat through his eye, through his third eye. Thank you. Through Muktinath Prabhu's third eye. We appreciate. Gaurapremanandi, Hari Hari.
I'll go to RT now.
Giriraj, just one moment. Hare Krishna, Dandavad, dear devotees.
Okay, thank you very much, Muktinath Prabhu. And to everyone else, Madanda Pranam. See you next time. Hare Krishna.